Hey guys, today's topic is parlays, and we're going to go over the who, what, why, and where of parlays in sports betting, why you may want to use them, what the advantages are, the disadvantages, how to calculate them, really break down a lot of the misconceptions there may be about parlay betting. So if you're new or experienced, you may want to check this video out and learn a little bit more about parlays. All right, guys, before we get deep into parlays, I love bringing you guys this type of content, teaching people how to become a better sports bettor. And if it's the kind of content that you guys are interested in, please subscribe or like these videos so that we know and we'll keep giving you guys more. All right, firstly, let's talk about what a parlay is. You may have heard about parlays and you're not 100% sure what exactly a parlay is. Well, a parlay is one bet that is comprised of two or more bets within it. What that means is you're making one bet on a multiple amount of bets, two or more, and each of those bets need to win for your one parlay bet to win. Let's say you, on a Sunday in the NFL, there's three teams that you want to parlay, three teams against the point spread that you want to put into a parlay bet. That would be one bet where all three of those teams now need to win against the spread for you to cash your parlay ticket. If you bet those three individually, of course, those would be three individual bets. So what we're doing is parlaying those three games into one for one payout. Naturally, the risk is a lot greater because trying to win three games as opposed to one game is a lot more difficult. And because of that, the payouts will increase. Okay, let's look at a live sportsbook now. This is Draftkings. We're looking at the MLB schedule for tonight, and we've got the spreads in column 1, we've got totals in column 2, and we've got the money line in column 3. Typically, when you are looking at parlaying in MLB, or even just any MLB bet, is usually done on the money line, but certainly spread betting is something that I do, or run lines as we call them in MLB is something that I'll do, and of course totals as well. So you could do any combination of these. Let's say you wanted to take the Tigers getting a run and a half, minus 137. You liked over 5.5 runs in that game, minus 120. And then you wanted to take, let's say, the Chicago White Sox at minus 143 in a 3-team parlay. So I like to break this down in Excel. It's always easier to see that way. And certainly for you guys to understand it a little bit better, we can show this in a spreadsheet form. Firstly, the odds are in American odds as we saw them over on Draftkings. That's typically how you will see odds, certainly in the United States. We need to convert those to decimal odds, or you will see them referred to as European odds. For a minus odds or a favorite, you're going to take the absolute value of those odds. So minus 137, the absolute value of that would be 137. You're going to add 100 to that. So 237, and then divide that 237 by the odds absolute value, or remove the negative sign, 137. That gives you 173. So it would be 137 plus 100 divided by 137 equals 1.73. Those are your decimal odds. The greater the favorite, the higher the odds, the lower this number is going to become. So you see the minus 120 is 183, minus 143 is 170. That's the largest line, the largest favorite here, and of course the lowest decimal odds. If we had positive odds here, if we had a plus 110, what we would do is add 100 to the 110, divide that by 100, and come up with the odds. So it would be 110 plus 100 is 210 divided by 100, it'd be 2.10. Even money odds in decimal odds are 2.0. In American odds, they are plus 100. Now, we get the decimal odds to calculate the parlay. We just multiply these odds. We're multiplying 1.73 times 1.83 times 1.7. Then we multiply that by 100 to get back to American odds. And if we subtract out 100, that would be the odds for this parlay. So about 4.39 to 1 would be the odds that this parlay is going to pay. Now the payout here, I'm changing based on the amount that we have for unit size. So for a $100 unit size, here's the payout. It would be a $539 payout because I'm risking 100 to win 439, as the odds say, plus I'm getting my 100 back. So this includes my bet amount. So if I change this to, let's say I'm a $50 bettor, you'll see the payout is now $269. I'm getting half the odds here on $439, which is about $220 plus the $50, so $270 or $269, depending on how we're rounding. Now, if you've watched any of my videos on bankroll management, you know I like to bet a to win 1 unit amount, not to risk 1 unit amount. And that will be evident if you watch the bankroll management videos, because you'll understand why it's important to do it the way I do it in managing your bankroll. So if you are familiar with that, you want to risk a amount to win 1 unit. Obviously, this parlay has a low probability of coming in. On an individual basis, each one of these games is supposed to win, but these are not overwhelming favorites where it's some sort of a lock, of course, that these games are going to win. And really, there is no lock. No matter how high the favorite is, there's never a lock on whether or not a favorite is going to win a game or not. But we are now taking this in a parlay. So we are making the bet much less likely to win. So we want to risk a smaller amount. So if we were a $50 bettor, a bet like this would be to win 1 unit, would take about $11 worth of risk. Because of those odds, we would get paid back $61, which would be our $50 profit, which is what we are looking for. That's our unit size as a $50 bettor. And we will risk the 11 in order to get that back. We'll get $61 back. All right, so you've got a little background on how to calculate the probabilities. Of course, your sportsbook is going to do these calculations for you, but I wanted to give you a background on how to calculate it and also how to come up with the to win amount, because that's vital and it's really important. Now, should you be playing these at all? Well, that question is kind of like, should I be betting at all? If you are a bettor who is not profitable and then you are parlaying those bets that have not been profitable straight betting, you're just going to lose an even greater amount by parlaying. So when you hear advice where people say, don't parlay games, they're sort of right, because most people do lose in sports betting. But for those of us who have been successful, have winning models, parlaying can actually accelerate and make your profits grow at a quicker rate. Also, you could do that at a lower risk amount if we are properly managing our bet sizing. So we can now risk less, as you saw in the example. And of course, our volatility and our win rate is going to go down quite a bit, but we can risk a smaller portion of our bankroll on these bets. If we are hitting at a rate that is profitable by just playing these games straight, we are also going to be profitable in parlaying. If you are losing, if you've been a losing bettor over time by straight betting games, you're going to be a losing bettor parlaying. It's as simple as that. So it's up to you on how you want to do this. Now, why do people do it? A couple of reasons. You're going to parlay, of course, for the big payouts. Some people like to play big 9, 10, 11 team parlays, depending on what your book is willing to take, in the hopes of winning these big paydays. You'll see it a lot now online. Now that sports betting has become legal, you'll see these $1 and $2 type parlays that pay $25,000, $100,000. Some crazy parlays where someone will bet $1 or $2 on a bunch of huge underdogs on the money line in the hopes of hitting a big payday. Those are basically lottery tickets. It's the same thing as going and playing the lottery. We don't really gamble here per se. What we're trying to do is take a educated approach. We're trying to look for value in our bets. So presumably you're going to be playing any parlay that has value as a straight bet. You're going to be combining those into a parlay, and that parlay is also going to have positive value. So in our example, if we had a minus 137 favorite that we were interested in betting, our model or our point of view is maybe that team should be more like a minus 160 favorite. So we're getting a bit of value there at minus 137. Playing them straight, there's value. Parlaying them with another game or two where we have value is also going to be beneficial and profitable. Now, another way a lot of people may play parlays and like to play them is by taking really heavy favorites and knocking those odds down to something that's a little bit more digestible. So if you have a model that has a team that is minus 500 and you think they should actually be minus 1,000, so you're getting a lot of value there on that minus 500 team. This could be a soccer match. Maybe it's a tennis match where you have a huge favorite. You think they should be a minus 500. They're now minus 1,000. So you want to make that bet, but you don't want to risk 5 units in order to win 1 unit. So on that same day, or maybe within a day or two, you have another bet, could be on any other sport, where it's a similar situation. You've got a team that's at minus 300. You think the line should be minus 450, so you've got value there. And now you combine the two, so you do a 2-team parlay. You've got the minus 500 team or player, and you've got the minus 300 team or player, and then you reduce the amount that you have to outlay out of your pocket. Now, of course, just like any other parlay, both sides need to win in order for that bet to be a winner. So there's three ways really that people want to parlay this. One is that lottery ticket type of parlay that I was talking about for a small amount of money. People are just taking a chance that a bunch of big underdogs will win. Even if they're not huge underdogs, they're just taking a chance even at hitting 10 games against the spread to have this big payout. You can have a situation where you're going to take a bunch of heavy favorites that you like with value and knock those lines down, or you're simply taking the games that you normally would be taking as a straight up bet, and you're going to put those into parlays to lower the amount of outlay out of your pocket and better your payouts. Of course, if you have a profitable system, you're going to see your return on investment actually increase on parlays if you are being true to yourself and you actually do have a profitable system. So one last thing on parlays. What happens if you push one of the legs of the parlay? Well, you're going to revert now to the next lowest amount of legs that you have in that parlay. So if this was a 4-team parlay and you pushed on one of those legs, it would turn into a 3-team parlay. You simply just remove that one leg like it didn't happen. If it was a 2-team parlay, it now becomes a straight bet on that other leg that did not push. So it's quite simple. That's how we handle pushes on parlays. That's a little bit on parlays. We can go into more detail in a more advanced lessons on parlays, but that's the basics there. And if you are unfamiliar with them, you should have a pretty good knowledge of what a parlay is now. Again, please like and subscribe this video if you want to get to know more about sports betting. We're going to cover a ton of topics on this channel. I look forward to bringing you all of that content. Remember, coming out soon, the Sharp app in the App Store. Download it for free. Until next time, let's make some money together. Good luck.